If you have that one toxic person that's dragging your sales team down, then you might have a culture problem. My name is AJ. I'm the co-founder and CEO of ProLine. And in this interview, I sit down with Taylor Baires from Solutions Beyond the Storm to talk about the importance of culture and why sales scripts just don't work. Let's get into it.
Here at the International Roofing Expo for day 2, and I'm here with Taylor Baires of Solutions Beyond the Storm. Thanks for joining me, Taylor.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Can you talk through a little bit about what you do with Solutions Beyond the Storm, and for any roofers that aren't already aware?
So Solutions Beyond the Storm is basically what it sounds. I'm a problem solver, so naturally I find a problem, contractors come to me, and it got to the point where they would just bring me all of their problems, and I was like always able to find a solution. So I kind of started it up organically, never actually saw myself as somebody that wanted to get into the consulting space, but so many people I was able to solve their problems. So that's kind of how it happened. So it's consulting, training, systems. I do a lot of door-to-door trainings, recruiting, things of that nature.
So a focus on the sales side of the business, is that what I'm hearing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Sales is definitely my niche.
I understand that you have a pretty interesting story of how you got into the roofing space, and you have a background that may be a little different from other people. Can you give me that story of where were you before roofing, and then how did you end up in the roofing space?
So I actually grew up on job sites. My dad has a company in Chicago, and full GC, commercial, residential. So if I wanted to hang out with my dad, that was the only way. It was to go and get stuck working with him all day. So obviously he took full advantage of having a blonde-haired, blue-eyed daughter that nobody was going to say no to. And, hi, can my daddy do your roof? Knocking on the door way before I was old enough, So he didn't care about the laws and regulations on that, just free child labor. I definitely grew up in this space, and I know a lot more than just roofing. I know full-on construction GC. So, I was putting in flooring. I was whatever my dad, he never just handed me money. So I had to work for it. One time he had me sweep a parking lot at a commercial job site because I wanted money for something. He's like, you have to earn it,
Yeah.
So he definitely taught me a good work ethic because I have worked my butt off to get where I'm at. I went into law enforcement. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, that was the path that I wanted. I never wanted to be in construction. But that was not the ideal life because I didn't get to see my kids. I barely saw them at all, and they didn't care. You're kind of just a body at that point. And so much respect for people that are able to actually stay in that field because it's very, very high stress and kind of a toxic work environment. So I'm blessed now with the ability to be able to kind of do whatever I want. I have nothing but freedom to pick up and go somewhere and take my kids along with me. I don't miss anything for them. I make my own schedule, complete freedom. And that's what success is to me, is to be able to have the money and the means to give my kids whatever they want.
I love that. That sounds like a really powerful why. So what was, obviously that drew you back, just the different lifestyle drew you back into roofing, but was there anything else? Specifically, was it, did you run across, you meet a company you wanted to work with, or what was that trigger that was no, I need to go back to roofing?
So right after COVID happened is kind of where I was home with the kids and everything shut down, and there was no options to really work, but there was still door-to-door sales. We weren't supposed to be door-to-door selling, but we were, And
I was doing door-to-door.
Yeah, so that was kind of the only place that was hiring was door-to-door sales. So I went back into it, and this time I was like, I'm just going all in. I'm just going to send it because that's the only option. And then I went through a divorce, and that's when I started my own companies because I was like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Do I go back to school or do I just full send into the industry? And I decided to just full send, and I started 5 companies now and have helped, I can't even count how many other companies grow theirs. So
yeah.
It's been amazing.
That's awesome. So let's talk through, you obviously have a lot of experience in the sales space and door-to-door space. Was there anything, and then you took the path off in law enforcement, was there anything from that experience in law enforcement that you were able to then bring back to roofing?
The joke is that a lot of roofers are felons. So I just kind of switch sides,
Switch sides of the table.
Yeah. I mean, not all of them are, obviously, and most of them, just because they have a record doesn't mean that you're a terrible person. Everybody has the second chance to do something with their life, you know?
Some really good redemption stories in this.
Amazing redemption stories. And I actually absolutely love Roofers in Recovery. Like, I cannot talk enough about how amazing that program is and how many lives they've changed in this industry. I'm very close to them, and I will push that every day, all day.
Yeah, Roofers in Recovery is, we've been, I don't know if we have done any collaboration with them yet, but we've been looking at how we can get more involved with them because
they're amazing.
Yeah.
And Paul and Kim are some of the best people that I've ever met in this industry. When I separated from my husband, they were a huge help. Kim has been a huge inspiration to me. She's so powerful, and they're like the true definition of a power couple. I absolutely love them.
I love it. So, coming back into roofing, what is your, what would you say is the top 3 things that when you're working with roofing companies on their sales process and lead generation process, what are the top 3 mistakes that you see them often making in that, like out there doing door to door?
One of the biggest things that there's an issue with is the egos get in the way for sure. That's one of the biggest
when
things
they're
that
out
I've
there
seen.
door to selling.
Just in general with systems and everything. I mean, it's a very male-dominated field. So the egos clash. The salespeople, once they start selling a certain amount, they think they know better than the owner of the company, and then they clash. So you have to be very careful about your culture. And I think that that's one of the biggest things with door-to-door sales is if you don't have a good culture, then your whole system is out of place. The culture is super important. Like if you have one negative bad apple, it'll ruin your whole sales team.
Yeah.
And then that's going to ruin your company. So, I mean, you have to be very careful about the people that you hire and not just be hiring anybody off the street because they have to care about that company as much as you do because they're representing your company.
And they need to buy into the culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
have a good culture, have a values culture, prioritize culture. That's one. What would you say are the other 2, like mistakes you often see?
systems in place.
Lack of systems.
Yes. A lot of people are just wearing too many hats, trying to do everything themselves. They don't know which systems are better. You know, I think that the systems is definitely super important to make sure that you're running everything the right way. I mean, having your CRM partnered with company cam and being able to have everybody have access to that and then being able to access it in the field. There's so many new systems now that are just amazing. They're all kind of tying that in so where you can actually track your reps in the field now, know where they're at because reps will say that they're out working and selling and they're not, you know? So, but nobody wants to babysit grown men or grown women. So That's a huge plus to be able to actually know like so-and-so went to this door at this time and they actually were there. And then, okay, they talked to them, they didn't talk to them, log it in the system.
Yep, absolutely. So having those systems in place, systems and processes. And what would you say is like the third most common thing?
Well, tying into that, what we just talked about, I mean, the unorganization as far as like, okay, we hit this neighborhood, but how many houses in this neighborhood did we hit? How long do we wait to go back? And making sure that you're documenting which houses we hit, who we talked to, who we didn't talk to, because otherwise you'll just hit that neighborhood and you don't know which houses you hit, you don't know who you talked to, and then if you didn't actually sign them up right then and there, nobody goes back.
Yeah.
And I think that they leave so much money on the table by not having that organization to know or to follow up.
Yep. Yeah, so lack of tracking, like they're not tracking that
Exactly.
data. Yeah.
And so they just move on to the next neighborhood and nobody ever goes back to that neighborhood because they're like, oh, so-and-so already hit it. Like, but you left so much money on the table because they didn't hit every person in that neighborhood.
Right. Yeah, and unless you're tracking that, you're not going to know that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So prioritize culture, have systems and processes.
Organization.
Organize and track the knocks. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good breakdown. So, do you actually get into the nitty gritty of like the actual pitch on the doors? What's your
Absolutely.
What's your go-to pitch for?
I don't have a go-to pitch, to be honest. I am very much like a wing it person, and I don't think that any pitch works for the same person.
Yep.
If you are reading off a pitch and that's what you go to every single time, you're not going to make a lot of sales because you sound like a robot at that point. You have to get down like what you're trying to sell, believe in it, and have the confidence, and then you can sell. Because if you don't believe in what you're selling, you're not going to make them believe that they need it. You know, I think that sales is definitely like So all of my systems are very much based off of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Psychology.
Yeah.
Everything I do is psychology. And I've really mastered that. And I think that that's why everything I do is a lot different than other people, because I don't believe in just having a one-fit-all system. I structure everything so that it's not that way, because not every roofing company has the same problems. Not every person has the same problems. So you have to be able to adjust and read the people and read the problem and be able to solve it for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so it's more important to have the fundamentals of your sales process down than memorizing scripts.
Yeah, the script is not important. What's important is that you can talk to people, you can make them believe that they need this product and be able to be confident in it. And you have about 5 minutes. I say it all the time. You have 5 minutes to really make an impact. Otherwise, they're not buying anything from you. They're going to lose you. And if you're not rememberable, you're going to be forgettable. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to forget you.
What do you think? I've seen a number of recordings of people on doors lately that have gone viral, where the rep on the door just pretends to be as slow and unintelligent as possible, and like just slows way down. And I saw one last night that was hilarious, where it was a no soliciting door, and the guy's like, "Can't you read the sign?" He's like, "No, sir, I'm illiterate. They just sent me out here because I can't read." And that he got
See, somebody like that I wouldn't buy from, though. Like, me personally, I'm like, this guy doesn't know anything. Like, I'm not going to buy from him. Like,
so you don't think that's a good strategy?
I personally don't. I mean, if that works for you, whatever works, you know, to each his own. But me personally, I'm buying from the person that has a good product. They know what they're talking about. They're confident, and they come to the door with confidence. Not to the point that they're, like, ignorant, you know? You don't want somebody that's too ignorant. Like, I see the same videos where people are, like, knocking on the door, and they're just so rude to the homeowner. It's like, you just knocked on this person's door, and you're going to be rude to them? Like, the audacity, you know? I'm not going to buy something from you.
You're on their doorstep.
Yeah, you're invading their personal space. Like, have some respect, you know? So, I mean, door-to-door is never going away. I keep hearing people saying that eventually it's going to go away. I don't think it's ever going to go away. Yeah. I think that that's one, like, it's like the OG that's not going anywhere ever. Yeah. Because no matter what, like, I mean, if the whole world shuts down, all the technology shuts down, that's exactly what people are going back to.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to... I was talking about this with Jay Bradley the other day. Do you know Jay?
Yeah.
Love Jay. But it's at the end of the day, it's always going to be there, and it's always going to work. No matter, everyone's like, oh, it's dead, it's dead. Yeah, but like, do people still have doors?
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. People are always going to have houses and doors, so I definitely don't think that it's going anywhere. I think that it's just the sale aspect is broadening, you know? Now you also have social media. It's not just the doors anymore. And you may not be able to get that person on that door, but, okay, so you knock on their door, can't get them right now, so then you can look them up, you can call them, you can find them on social media. If you can look up their information on a public property search, then you can usually look them up on social media and find them, or you can find their phone number. You know, there's just so much access to public records now that, like, if you're not selling, you probably shouldn't be in sales. Like, it's just so easy to find people and be able to sell whatever it is that you're trying to sell.
Makes sense. Let's wrap this up with, what is your number one tip for contractors, especially contractors that are out there doing door-to-door in 2026? What's the number one thing you think contractors should be focusing on and paying attention to going into this new year, new season?
That's a hard one, because focusing on one thing is not my task. Ever.
There's a lot of parts of the puzzle.
There's always so many parts to the puzzle.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you say is the most common one that you see if you're starting to work with a new contractor that you want to tackle first? It may not be true for everybody.
The right people to trust. I think that as a company owner, everyone really struggles to find people that they can trust to be able to help run the show, you know, because you can't do it and really grow to that next level if you're trying to do everything yourself. You have to be able to find the right people in place that you can trust to get these tasks done, and be able to know that it's actually going to get done, and care about your company the same way that you would, because that's the hardest part. If it's not their company, it's very difficult to find the people that are going to treat it like it's your company.
Yeah. So level up your recruiting strategy, recruiting skills.
That, and I mean, treating people the right way along with that, because it goes with the culture. That if you are disrespectful to your people, your door is going to be revolving. You're never going to keep good staff, and you're not going to be able to rely on them because you don't treat them right. Yeah. So I mean, it's all about the structures that you put in place and the respect level. You give respect, you earn respect. I mean, it all ties in together.
Absolutely agree. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
Absolutely.